So I had a old freezer, and in this video when I edit it, I'm going to show a little picture up here of the old freezer. And I had purchased it used, and the freezer only froze until 10 degrees. So at 10 degrees, it just would not get any colder. And if you guys know anything about ice cream, you should know that 10 degrees is not cold enough to keep ice cream like hard. It ends up like mashed potatoes that are melting. So it's kind of disgusting. So what I ended up doing is taking the top off. This here is the old freezer. And what I'm going to do is I cut the top off of it, and we'll look here. This is the top. It sets right in this new chest freezer, and I just kind of cut it all off just to make sure that it would fit and properly work. And it does seem like it's going to work. So now I'm going to get a whole bunch of tools, and we are going to get some more stainless, and I'm going to polish everything up, clean everything up, and I'm going to turn this standard chest freezer into a dipping station for ice cream. And I'm even going to make some of my own ice cream baskets out of some wire. And by wire, I don't mean like standard wire. I mean probably like 1/4-inch steel rod. And then I'm going to heat it up, bend it, weld it, get it all powder coated, stuff like that. And then make my own, because I bought this freezer on clearance for a total of $579, and that was out the door. Right now it is the end of June, and right now it's almost impossible to find a used machine for anything cheaper than what they are brand new. And brand new for an 8-place dipping station, it is between $3,000 and $4,000. And also they're usually about 6 to 8 weeks out, and I don't have 6 to 8 weeks to wait for one, and I need something that's going to work. And I don't want to spend the $1,800 on a 6-place ice cream dipping station that they have in town here. So I'm going to make my own dipping station out of my own chest freezer, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. And once I get everything all ready to rock and roll, like I said, I will show you guys the video of how I all did it and explain it, and you guys can see if it works for you. Or next time you guys want a dipping station and don't want to pay full price, you can check this video out, and maybe it'll give you some clues. Maybe it'll give you some hints. Maybe you think I'm crazy and you shouldn't do it, but we'll find out. We're back to working on the custom-made dipping station. I have the top of this new freezer off. It actually comes off fairly easy. There's just a bunch of brackets here, and there is a little plug in here. All I'm going to do is just tighten these screws down. I'll get a little cap and build a cap for there. Now what I have to do is get this piece on top of the section here, but in order to do that, I have to fill some gaps with some foam and some caulk and get everything just kind of as airtight as possible, so that way I don't have any leaks and I'm not just kind of cooling the outside, because I don't want that. Humidity, all that is bad for a freezer. But yes, I'm going to get some expanding foam, get that all in there, and then what I'll do is I'll temporarily tape it to make sure none of the foam comes out of the seams or anything like that. I'm going to get a couple of screws in there. I'll pre-drill some holes just to make sure nothing's going too crazy. And I will get that all attached and ready to go, and then I'll show you what happens next. So right now, expanding foam, and just put a solid, nice big chunk all the way around. I'm going to set my piece on top now, And hopefully this will work. So I drew some lines and got a little bit of a stencil here to kind of figure out where it needs to go. All I'm doing is just trying to get the seal all the way around. I'll wait until this foam dries, and then I will scrape off all of the excess stuff that I have. Otherwise, I'm going to use the rest on a door jamb that I got. So let's do it. Yo, so I'm actually impressed with myself. I took on this project to kind of save myself some money, and I have. I took that entire top off of my old freezer, my old dipping station, and I chopped it and cut it and made it to fit onto another standard chest freezer, and it actually looks, I mean, to me, awesome. So I am pretty impressed with myself. I do need to kind of do a few more things to make it 100% perfect, or at least in my eyes, perfect. But this is it. It turned out awesome. I will show you guys some pictures and a few things. I will say that the regular light, no more, but what I did do is take some LEDs and I put LEDs in, so now I got a separate little switch, flip them on, voila. It turned out awesome, and I'm hoping that it'll work just as good as it looks. And I'm going to just kind of get a few more things to kind of seal it up a little bit, and then I have to figure out what I'm going to do for the baskets to hold the ice cream. I actually don't think that's going to be as hard as I am envisioning it, so hopefully that's true. Hopefully I can get something sort of made and done. I currently have this freezer on. That freezer is always on. It does carry the rest of my ice cream. And basically making sure that it will freeze cold enough to kind of figure it all out. It is the standard, you know, cold, less cold, all that. And I have my thermometer in there. Currently it's at 40 degrees, but I just plugged it in a little bit ago. Hopefully this thing works exactly how I want it to. And I'm going to keep going and keep making it work, but this thing looks awesome. Okay guys, so I have my custom made ice cream dipping station, and it is complete, ready to rock. We got LEDs all in there. Now again, what I did, as you saw earlier, took the top off, put this nice little finish molding, everything all around it, got everything done, plugged it all in. It was all working well, but I couldn't get it to stay cold enough in there with just this top. So what I did is I built a custom top, this here, and then we have just some reflective bubble material here. All the ice cream containers in here, I took this same plastic here, which is actually a food safe plastic, and I put all milk crates on the bottom to have everything go up. With those milk crates, I was then able to stack a little grate on top of that. Now the reason I use milk crates is so that all the air can flow through it. All the cold air can still get to everywhere that it needs to go. And then what I did is I took that same plastic, I traced holes in all of the ice cream containers, and then I cut those out, set the ice cream containers in there, and then basically what I had to do is build a wedge with that same ABS plastic to wedge the ice cream containers in there so they don't spin or move around when you're scooping ice cream. And then, like I said, I built this little top. All I did for handles, just to get it out, there is some holes in there with some ropes. You can't see the ropes or even touch the ropes from down top, or down below, sorry. And I made it so you can keep the cold in the freezer even when it's all down. It works wonderful. I will say the only downfall of this whole thing is if you do not have the top here on, the ice cream does get a little bit warm, because then it'll go up to about 5 degrees. But if you keep this top on, everything stays nice and cold. It stays right around 0 degrees, sometimes -1, -2, which, if you know anything about ice cream, that's right where you want it to be.